If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus Tonight, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And today we are talking about a giant god made of liquid metal that's kind of the first thing, but also a new thing. And I don't know.
Big spaghetti monster.
Flying spaghetti monster. So Bushu has been revealing, in addition to like new stuff in, what is it, 11? Set 11?
Yes.
DBT 11. They're also starting to show more things from History Collection. Like last week we talked about Hanali, which was a big frickin' deal. And here's another big frickin' deal. Please welcome back again after, 7 years of... I think there was a V version of him that didn't really do anything, but yeah. So,
yeah.
This Harmonics Messiah... So to people who are newer to the game, Harmonics Messiah, way back in the day, was when they first introduced strides as a concept. They were like, behold, Harmonics Messiah, from all clans and nations. It's got triple drive. And that's it.
Yep.
Well,
so they eroded him for
all right.
this set. And why don't we take a look here? Anybody want to read that?
Sure.
It got bigger.
So Harmonics Messiah, as a continuous, you only have one Harmonics Messiah G unit in your what's it called?
G zone, G deck, something like that.
Yeah, whatever that is. And then stride step, you could discard grade 3, blah blah blah, stride on Vanguard. When it's placed on Vanguard Circle, you choose any number of locked cards and unlock them. Choose same number of cards from your hand as the number of cards unlocked by the spec and discard them. So you get unlocks, for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, we already did that one. And then an auto in Vanguard Circle and G Zone, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle at the beginning of your turn, if this card is face up and your damage zone has 2 or less cards and no new card was put in your damage zone during your opponent's preceding turn, you put the top card of your deck in your damage zone, draw a card. And then an auto in G Zone, when your grade 1 unit is placed from riding from a grade 0, if you went second, reveal this card and put a Guardian Shield ticket into your hand. And so it makes every single starter have the Guardian Shield effect.
Yes, and this Guardian Shield has 20 instead of 5. Mm-hmm. So
that's true.
Yep. So a lot to unpack here. Yeah, you can unlock all your cards. I don't think that was really the thing.
I don't think that's probably not the thing anybody is thinking about right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that they kind of put that in there just to be like, all right, we're done with chaos. You can, sod off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the variance that are topping isn't even chaos, is it? I mean, B.
No, it's usually like Deleter or Deleter Messiah that ends up topping. And that's more focused on either the multi-attacking or the deleting part. The actual locking the opponent's board and leaving it there, the arms race that we had going back and forth with all of them, the unlocking part of the arms race won. So There we go. It's done. COVID is no longer a worldwide emergency, and you can unlock all your cards.
It's okay. Georgia was playing Chaos Breaker for some reason. Oh, and Germany.
Weird.
I know when you said Georgia, you meant the state.
Yeah.
But I also thought of, Stalin's home country.
Yeah. But no, apparently it also topped in Germany.
Okay.
All right.
Or Chaos did.
That sounds very German of them, I guess.
Yeah. European tournaments are wild.
Yeah, definitely. So that third effect, wherein if at the beginning of your turn, it's face up in G zone. So either you flipped it with something or you strode it once, whatever, and you haven't taken something on damage, you can self-damage and draw one. How we feel about that?
Not bad.
Yeah. This, like, barely matters, right?
Yes and no.
Like, in the very odd case where someone looks at their turn 3 and decides, you know what? I'm not going to attack you.
I mean, that does happen.
Yeah, it happens. I just don't know how, like, often it's happening anymore. Both because of, like, very powerful V grade 3s, but also now, in this same set, you can just stride.
I mean, that's true, but it's, I mean...
Yeah.
Damage denying, I think, was a pretty important part of Vanguard, and I think it made some people rather upset. I don't know. I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
Because some decks just literally kill you if they have enough damage.
Yeah.
And people... I saw some people calling it, like, oppressive or something, and I'm like, damage denying was never really oppressive. Honestly, the oppressive thing was, like, people just doing wild shit into Ride Down. That was oppressive, but they're not talking about that for reasons unknown.
Well, because they fixed it with the history collection stuff.
I mean, did they? Yeah.
They
fixed it if you're playing one of the decks that can do that, right? It's still like, I mean, but like in the entirety of the last format, like Ride Down was an insane thing.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm saying that like this is supposed to be the thing that upends that as a viable strategy, where decks that will want to go down in grade 2, that's not really as much of a like a fuck you as it was before, because you can then go, all right up into Alt Mile and then go into, Goblet. I can do that whether on grade 2, grade 4, or grade 7. It's going to happen.
Grade 10.
Grade 10, yeah. Dragon Tree! Yeah.
I saw on top with it, playing it in Astral Poets. You don't want a 10 drive check Valkyrion?
Wait, seriously? Someone top of that?
Yes.
Amazing. I love that. Yeah, I think damage denial was never really oppressive. Because it's one of those things where it's a resource that relies on the opponent for it to happen, and your way to get around damage denial was to not have any rear guards for them to snipe.
I mean, they could just not attack you.
Yeah, they could just not attack you or like swing under your Vanguard.
But like, it was important for decks that could literally do nothing under damage, which is a fair amount. There, I think a big thing too is like with like a lot of like later V stuff and like D stuff, even people got a lot more to do with no damage. I think is what kind of like made the damage denial like a little weird. Even before,
you also had Heal Guardians, which
that's true. Oh, yeah, that's a big one too. Yeah, and Heal Guardians can give you damage. So damage denying was already kind of a you better be able to operate on one damage at least, which a lot of decks can do. This is kind of so I think even after Heal Guardians, damage denying wasn't a huge problem unless your deck needed like a billion counterblast like Pale Moon.
Yeah.
But people specifically did not give Pale Moon a ton of damage because they would fucking die.
Yeah. And even when you don't give Pale Moon a ton of damage, like Pale Moon still did okay. Like it still topped and stuff.
Yeah, it was. Dolls could still kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think that like what's interesting about this is this, unlike Heal Guardians, wherein it's like if you haven't taken damage, then you can do the self damager. This is just if you haven't taken damage last turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So it can be like, all right, they put me at 3 on turn 3. I used it all. And then my opponent saw that and didn't attack after.
You also have to have 2 or less.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so if I have 2 damage, it's both face down. You can then use this like on whichever turn of the game.
Yeah. I mean,
very, very narrow.
Not even that good. I mean, this is also just the 0 effect copy pasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is not like crazy.
This is not. I don't think this is the relevant part of the effect.
It's not.
I think it's fine. I think it's cool that it can turn any starter into kind of the quick shield ones where you get to get a quick shield.
Yes.
I think that's really cool. Just because it kind of gives a use to the really, really old starters, which people don't play anymore.
Mhm.
Yes. I miss Forerunners. Can we have new Forerunners, please?
No,
I think we might see a bigger return of Forerunners because like if a deck runs it, you better have a good reason, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you still miss out on like the random card. So like a lot of people like who want to find like specific pieces might still play the draw card one, which is fine, and that already has the appropriate text. But
this basically turns the V starters into a +3 because you draw one, you get the quick shield, and then you get the guardian shield.
You get both.
Yeah,
because this isn't affecting the G zone.
+2.
Jeez, that's crazy. Never mind. You should definitely still play those starters. Holy,
Yeah.
You got a billion cards. But I think the extra card in hand just kind of like makes it so that people can like trade that card out for whatever. I don't think the shield's gonna have much of an important effect.
Of the very limited testing that we did last night with this, what is this? Guardian Shield didn't really. Most of the time, it was like, all right, I guess get rid of the 20k shield for whatever this or that reason. The card you're discarding with like the trading out for something, that's the one you get from the starter, almost always. But 20k it's like a grade 1, or it's a grade 1.5 in hand.
It's a heal.
Yeah,
it's a heal. Yeah,
it's pretty big.
Yeah, like 20k is a lot. Like there are decks that, especially with the new like V support promos, there are a lot of decks that can just aggro a lot faster now. Like 20k shield early is actually relevant, whereas with the quick shield, that one was always a very disposable card because like the heck is 5k going to do for you when your opponent can swing for these huge numbers at grade 2?
It does make turn 3 like kind of push plays a lot worse, which means that like I think it's possible that we just go back up into a situation where people don't want to write up. Because if you go second, you now have this huge shield, right? So it's harder for the first turn player to commit, knowing that you have a bazillion shield in your hand.
But then that also means that like with Hanali, with all that stuff, it's like defensive power creep, which is what we were looking for.
I suppose so.
Yeah. I think
this one does specifically say if you went second, so like I think like trying to hold off on grade 1 probably is not the play with this.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm saying like the first turn player might not want to write up
2-3. I think you made it.
Yeah.
Like you stay on 2.
Like if you note that, like you can note pretty usually, like if you know your opponent's not on like a deck that would normally play their stride, the old strider, where they can go into one of the new the
history strides. I've just been calling it history strides.
Yeah. If they can't, if like you're pretty confident, like not going to the history stride, which obviously we're not going to know right now. But like as the meta shakes up, that's going to be an easier decision to make. You can kind of like think about grade 2 gaming. But if they are, then you're kind of forced to write up. But then they also have like a giant shield in their hand. You know that. So that's going to be interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out.
And it's also another card that like you ever get the hands where you're like, I have 3 of my 4 PGs in hand. Fuck. Yeah. And it just like cuts your hand in half more or less. Like that's one more card that you can discard.
That's true.
Yeah. For this or that.
This card seems quite powerful. And honestly, I think like the damage denying part is kind of the anti-damage deny or whatever. It's kind of the least interesting part of the card.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny because we already have heal guardians, so like whatever.
That was just them copy pasting from 0.
I see. Oh, Vanguard 0, rest in peace.
Yeah, that's right, because you had the thumbnail of different fights saluting, right?
I mean, I didn't play Vanguard 0 very much, so I'm not that.
Neither did I. Would have been funny if they did a complete copy paste. Apparently, Harmonics had been errata multiple times, but I guess the current and now last iteration of this card is like it has the same damage denial effect, And then, like, at the start of your third turn main phase of the player going first, you can add a grade 0 heal trigger from outside your deck to your hand, which I have no idea what is going on in 0 for that to be a thing that you're doing.
I heard the Vanguard Zero G era stuff was quite annoying to deal with, just because like the GR rarity was like so annoying to get mats for.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's super hard to craft shit. Yeah.
Do you mean like the original GR up until
Yeah, but it, no,
GPT-06? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it was like
Yeah.
a phone game. So
I know.
Back when GRs were like 1 or 2 per case.
Always a good time.
Remember when Next Stage was $100 card?
I remember that.
I do. We were around for that.
I know.
Was
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh, God.
We're like almost there. Tempest is like $80.
Seriously?
I don't know why. I think like Youthwork has fallen off into being like a B tier deck at best.
Mm-hmm.
Look, can't keep up.
Get good. Let's see. Guardian Shield. So now throw this on the pile with Hanali and get excited because I'm excited. And you should be too. I say with my crazy hairdo. I don't know what happened today.
Okay, my hair is messier than yours.
I'm wearing headsets, so who knows?
In general, yes, but today something happened and I don't know what it was.
I brushed it, so I'm chilling.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think my hair is still messier than yours.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
sure.
Yeah, Rupert, your hair is definitely messy.
People in the YouTube
Brush your
comments,
hair.
whose hair is messier? Okay, also, do you have this shit going on where you have like
Your widow's peak? Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, this shit where it like
I don't
won't
have a widow's
assimilate.
peak, but I'm just kind of going bald in general. My
You're-
hair
right.
is thinning
You're
out.
balding, Atlas. I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh yeah,
My
if
hair
I'm,
is also thinning out in the front. Don't worry.
if I'm balding, it's going this way, not this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine's
no.
going this way.
Look, it'll be like that time I just showed up at your apartment bald.
You just become H bomber guy, right?
Yeah.
You just have so much testosterone that you go bald and grow a beard.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely pull off the Walter White thing for sure. Yeah, when you showed up in my apartment bald, I nearly peed my pants. So thank you for that. He helped me move though, so I think it would have been an even trade. Anyway,
Correct.
yeah. So, what is happening? What was the other thing we wanted to look at? Roroa and
Scroll back up for
up. Oh right, Green on Mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, other thing from History Collection. The
the flip
the-
one.
yeah.
Were those the
heal
ones that
trigger.
only flipped if you used the specific G guard?
No, it was when you G-darted with it, you bind 2 heals, so it and one other one from drop to countercharge or soul charge.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now they've updated the power or 10k power, 15k shield.
Mhm.
So now that's something to
Yeah.
consider. I don't think it's going to outdo Heal Guardians, but
It's really hard to outdo
Yeah.
Heal Guardians. Like, maybe if they had been updated to 20k shields like old V triggers were, but like...
mhm. I think with just how aggressive early game is now, it's probably not going to be a thing unless your
Yeah.
deck is like really wanting for that damage or soul.
Yeah, you have to be doing something real specific.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You might do a 3-1 or something, but I
Maybe.
don't really.
Sure.
I mean, I was doing 3-1s of like regular heals because sometimes the 20k was relevant early, but like...
So yeah, Green on Mask. Love the art on this. It's looking good.
He is a dapper gentleman.
He is a dapper gentleman who went all Phantom of the Opera on us. So continue once. Okay, same thing. Can only be written on a grade 3 with grade on. Continuous. The number of cards to lose is 7, so you don't need another grade on in Soul. It just
Yep.
is.
Mhm.
But you will have one.
Yeah, but I mean, you can now Soul Blast it out without
Yeah.
automatically losing. Yeah. Act on Van once per turn. Remove a grade on with a different name from hand, soul, or drop. Check top 7. Look for up to 1 Desire Devil. Put it in your hand and shuffle, and then
Cool.
auto on Van once per turn. At the end of the battle that it attacked, if there are 3 or more Desire Devil cards in your soul, put 3 standing readers in your soul. Stand this unit gets power +5.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So-
keep your condition.
Yeah. Easier condition. You don't have to Soul Blast 2 anymore. It does have a once per turn added onto it, so you can't do the thing where you restand greed on multiple times anymore. I don't know how easy it was to do that. That seems like a very high role play, but
For the old one,
yeah.
it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, that seems like a very high role play, but
They
that was
needed
something you could
4.
do with the original.
Yeah,
The trade-off is that... Oh, what were you saying?
the original needed 4, not 3, so
Yeah.
it was a bit more work.
It was,
Doable,
yeah,
but
but yeah, so you can't do the like restanding greed on multiple times anymore, but the trade-off for that is you get to keep your front row. And then because you can keep your front row, you don't have to go as heavy on like the Desire Devil cards to like fill out your board again. So it opens up the deck to play more generic cards.
Okay, that's good. It's like the opposite of purple Bruce, which got more xenophobic.
And then it only gains 5k instead of 15 now, but it also loses the requirement of needing 10 cards in Soul, which I don't think was that hard for greed on, but I don't know.
Now you just
I've seen very mixed opinions on this card, but I think it's actually decent.
I think it's definitely helped out by the fact that you get to play the mass cards.
Right.
Which is going to immediately activate Persona Ride, so your front row is going to have 15k anyway.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, that's why it only gets 5, right? So it gets up to 15 with the Persona Ride.
Yep, and you just have some big old rear guards to smack them in the face, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and you can just eat the grade 1 that gives you a turn-wide guard. I think it was a Battle Door effect?
I think so, yeah.
Easy.
So, Matt, you being a Spike Brothers player, does this replace...
No.
No.
Because it requires Desire Devils, that's a big miss.
Yeah. Like, the Desire Devil requirement is easy, because that's just your ride line.
I'm playing 0 Desire Devils.
Oh, good point.
So, this card can't replace because I don't have any Desire Devils.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be funny if you, run just 3 of them. All right, I'm going to put them into Soul and then leave them there.
Yeah, but, how do I get to them, right?
I know. Yeah,
and then the removal effect seems fine, just like plus as a card. It does not have a random retire tacked onto it like most of the other masks.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Digging top 7 is pretty nice. It's going to be pretty consistent. So as long as you can find enough Desire Devils to shove into Soul, you should be pretty good.
I like this one. It doesn't feel super consequential to the deck the way that the Jeweled removal does. But it's still a nice benefit. So if you can do it, you can do it, and if you can't, it's fine.
His card's cool because Greedon is wearing a suit.
Yes.
I mean, he was wearing a suit in the other one.
Yeah, but now he looks like the Phantom of the Opera, like you said.
True. Yeah.
He's gonna have that sick riff every time he gets played onto the board.
What if?
We should do a once they're done revealing all the masks. Is this the last one? Are there any others? Or
I mean, literally set 12 is going to be Orpheus mask.
Oh, okay. So more of them. I meant for set 11. Sorry.
Set 11, yes. I think Greedon was the only thing.
Okay.
Honestly surprising that this one was in this set. I think they just didn't have anything else to put with Dark State, so they're like,
fuck it. Yeah.
Greedon.
Yeah. Maybe for once Orpheus comes out, we do a little tier list video.
I mean, as of right now, Zorgo is the best one. Jeweled is somehow the 8th best deck in the meta, and I don't get it. Leonorn and Astroya have done nothing.
Well,
really, because Leonorn seemed like the best one to me, but
Leonorn is arguably the worst one if we just go by how many results it gets.
Yeah,
actually,
that's what I'm saying.
I think I got one result in a big tournament, and Astroya has 0. So therefore, statistically, Astroya is the worst.
Yeah, Astroya, I get it, but Leonorn just on paper looked like the thing that was going to do the most.
But,
she suffers from needs a full board-itis.
Always a good time
when that happens.
Yeah, I think for decks that that's why I in premium in Messiahs I run the things that top 3 put something locked because that helps deal with the needs of full board itis that Link Joker chronically suffers from.
Yes,
but
Leonorn
not taking it to a tournament anytime soon.
But Leonorn needs it because you need to boost 3.
Right.
Apparently Gendiva is just the new shit.
It is. I played the deck a little bit for testing. It is quite good.
Okay. That's good.
Definitely, it plays a lot better than it reads, I think.
Yeah. Scroll down for. I guess we have the Calamity for the Dragon Tree for people who care about that.
Okay,
I'm good.
For
the
anybody
Blitz
who
shield that gets 10k, 20 if you're on the tree.
Yeah. Also, for anybody who didn't live in LA in 2018 when the entire state caught on fire, incident number 3 or whatever that was, the 405 looked exactly like this. I'm sure you've seen that video where it's the guy on the 405 and just both sides of the freeway are on fire. This.
Do you remember that time the wildfires got so bad the smoke literally just blocked out the sun?
Yes, that was crazy. So yeah, let's look at Rora.
I'll read this one.
Yes.
Like my guy. So when it's placed on the old Rora, you can call 2 plant tokens, and they get the auto ability when it's retired from rearguard circle. Draw a card until the opponent's next turn. Also activate Persona Ride.
Sure,
that's cool. Get the draw and the +10. Good stuff.
Well, it has to say that, otherwise you don't have it.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I got it.
But... and then on attack, you bind the old Rora from your soul. Give one of your glitter rear guard, so always Momoke 5k, and it gets a crit. And then at the end of the turn, ride the card you bound as rest, and it has the glitter ability.
Cool. Wild.
Yeah. I mean, this card is good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very
it
good.
does everything that I would... Well, okay, it doesn't quite do what I wanted. It does everything that the deck theoretically needs. Like, it gives you tokens that also draw cards when they're retired, which you are going to do. It's a free 5k for Momoke, which is just nice. Like, it can help you push it into like 30k, which really gets your numbers ridiculously high. Excuse me. The only downside is you need to Persona Ride.
Sure.
And like the deck early on does not have any way of gaining card advantage, so there is a large possibility of the deck just losing to itself unless we see like more rear guards to make the deck more consistent.
When you say losing to itself, you mean like just dying early, or
no? Just like you don't draw this, and you're like,
"Oh,
cool." My deck is not doing as you don't do nothing. You still have like a really good offense, but then you're probably only gonna have like 3 cards in your hand,
right? And then you're just like, "Where is the thing that will give me the more things?"
Yeah.
And then if I don't see that thing, I don't get more things, and then I die.
Like that. Yeah, that's like my main problem with this card right now. Is just like, okay, but like, up until you get to this, you have no card advantage, so there's a non-zero chance that there are going to be games you just lose because you didn't draw this card and your deck isn't doing enough.
Well,
like, Rora is very good at putting on a strong offense, it's just, it needs more consistency. Also, the other problem I've had with this card when testing is just rearguard economy, because you're only making 2 tokens instead of 3 now. Sometimes it's hard to find enough things to retire to get good numbers on Momoke.
I see.
Which the extra 5k helps a little bit. Also, it means like the defensive ability of the old Rora is less effective because you have to like retire the token to use the grade 3 Radalina, and there's a distinct possibility you just like don't have enough plant tokens after that to actually use the 5k effectively.
For the thing that vomits plant tokens, you're like, I don't got enough of them anymore.
Yeah, no, that's always been a problem with the deck, was just economy. You really need like the mushroom that puts itself to soul, makes 2 tokens. Otherwise, like, you actually don't make enough tokens sometimes.
That's why you were so jazzed about it. I just thought like,
no, the mushrooms are so important.
Yeah, no, I was just happy about it because it was like, it gives you soul, it gives you tokens. It's a plus. Yay. Like, I didn't realize that it had like that deep of a meaning for you, you know?
Yeah, no, like, because the old one, you would Soul Blast, you could make 3 tokens, but then you need to like retire things for Momoke for it to gain power. Like, you could save some cards with things like Signpost Fairy that like when it's retired, you give one of your grade 1 or less 10k. But it's like, at the end of the day, you still have to like commit things to the board to be retired, and then you still need to have a board to attack with after that.
I see.
So it was always just trying to find a way to maintain your rearguard economy. Rora's defensive ability, where you retire a token to give it plus 5k for the battle, like also messes with that a little bit, because now you go into your next turn with fewer rear guards, and you're like, all right, how do I like get my power, retire things for costs, and still have a board at the end of it?
Gotcha. I'm surprised there's not a card that's like, when this is retired, call 2 plant tokens.
Yeah, no, it's more of cards that just like retire themselves to make plant tokens at like your end step,
Right.
so that you could use it defensively. But yeah,
I could very easily see them making like Dandelion Knight or something. And then when he dies, there's the spores or whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a grade 2 that got revealed alongside Rora that like makes a plant token at the start of the battle phase. Oh yeah, also they made cycle. The theme of this set's cycle cards is orders.
Sure.
Yes. This
What
thing,
a
right?
theme.
Morpho? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Love the art on this.
so the thing I'm not liking about these new order cycles is that the order that they revolve around kind of suck. So the Keter Sanctuary one is like Soul Blast 1, give 2 things 5k, and then at the end of turn you can discard a card, put it back in your hand.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Gross.
And which sucks because the grade 2 cycle card that went along with it was like, if you played a normal order, you could like Soul Blast, just like check top 7, I think, for a card to call a card, and if you have 4 or more rear guards, get plus 10k. Like that card is super cool. It's just that like the order that they designed with it was not great.
Mhm.
But yeah, this that guy, the hunter.
The hunter. Okay, so affectionate hunter Matthias, grade 2, 10k. When placed on rear guard from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Rorwa at grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast, retire 2 other rear guards.
Grade 2 or less, call it.
Yeah, choose grade 2, call it to rear. And then front row rear, start of your battle phase, if you have a unit with Rorwa and a unit with Radalina, you may call up to 1 plant token.
Card's like, okay. It gets you Radalina back, which is because you have to retire it for the grade 3, first of all, but also the deck itself is also just very susceptible to removal. So this is like a way to get things back. Problem is like it costs a Soul Blast and the deck uses a decent amount of soul, though not as much as it used to, and you have the mushrooms for that, and then like the retire 2 is awkward. Again, just trying to maintain your rearguard economy is weird when you have a bunch of cards that say retire a thing. That's why like I never played Octius Sticky, the grade 1 that's like Power Blast 1, retire 2, draw plus 5k.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't make an like I think the deck makes enough tokens that you can like generally get through your plays, but like the set order has to retire a card to be activated. Momoke needs to retire for its power, and so if you're adding in like more things to retire, you start to run into a place where it's hard to maintain a solid board and get everything you want done.
Yeah, it seems like it comes down to like nickel and diming, like down to the wire to get what you need to get done.
Yeah, it can feel that way sometimes, which is why the mushrooms are great, and I love that card.
Yes.
I think it's like never going to leave the deck until they just make a better one.
Sometimes simplicity is better. Like even in like I might even try that in Great Nature just for the soul, and also you can use the plant tokens for this or that. But
and then
was it
also I guess we have insect themed cards now for all of the bug lovers.
Excellent.
There are a surprising number of Mega Colony players who are just sad that they don't have like an insect themed red line.
Yeah.
It's always like little stuff like this. So press Stinger, continuous on rear during your turn. If there are 2 or more Blitz orders in your drop, it gets plus 5k. So they really want you to do.
Well, the whole point of these cycle cards is they support like whatever order they're themed around.
I know. But when placed on rear, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Sweet Honey Garden, reveal, add it to your hand, and shuffle.
Yeah, so the Honey Garden was just like plus 15, and then if you have another Blitz order and drop plus 25 instead.
Sure.
Oh, and you have to Soul Blast for it.
All right. It's fine. It's better than the frickin' Wild Animals or whatever it was, where it was like, all right, if you have 3 things plus 5k, like really, come on.
Yeah. And that one's like counterblast at the end of the battle. Like counterblast 1, bind it. Search your deck for a grade 2 or greater blitz order that's not a Regalis piece. Add it to hand, and then if there's one in your drop, you can find a normal order instead.
That's not too
And
bad.
on attack, you can Soul Blast. If there's a blitz order, it gets plus 10k.
I like that thing.
Does
In a lot
Zorga
of-
have space for blitz orders?
You.
I do find it funny that they had to theme this one around blitz orders because otherwise it would be abused in Zorga immediately.
Oh, hell yes. I would love to see this experimented with. I think the order version of Magnolia can probably do some fun stuff with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it seems obviously like with all of the cycle cards, the idea is to just make them generic. I like that instead of tying it to Persona Ride, like this time around, they're giving it a more interesting theme around orders and goes along with our episode about orders.
True.
Yes, which I guess I'll link to in the description.
Yeah.
If you want to go watch that one's fairly recent.
Yeah, it does feel like these cards are like missing a grade 3 to tie them together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the lack of like good generic ride lines means that like it might be hard to find a home for these decks sometimes. Like maybe you could do some sort of weird defensive Leonorn build. I feel like that's the one that you can probably most easily just slot random cards into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure someone will come up with something and then randomly.
I want to try cooking something with the Keter cycle cards.
Yeah,
like those looked cool.
Those did look cool. Yeah, I think this has been an interesting week of reveals.
Next week we're getting Vermilion and a manga card.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Ezel, right?
Yes, we're still waiting on. I imagine Ezel will be closer to the end because it's like a big iconic boss monster. Although Vermilion was up there too. Like I like the Vermilion effect of attacking multiple things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be nice to have like an actual Dragon Empire version of it that's not Clarissa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, Clarissa is another deck that suffers from needs a board-itis.
We in our Discord, which you can join, throw us $1 a month, patreon.com/nexus@night. Get the Discord link. Anyway, so there's this one guy in our Discord who does custom cards all day, every day, forever. Like that's just what he does. Shout out to you. You know who you are. But he made like a Ezel encounter ride line like a week and a half before they revealed they were doing Ezel. So now there's like a thing in our Discord where he's like, I wonder how similar it's going to be to mine.
I just hope that the Ezel encounter isn't like too locked to Gold Paladin like the last wave of encounters were, so that I can like try to cook something with those cycle cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Minerva one was very, very xenophobic for sure.
You just need to discard a Genesis card.
Yeah.
Maelstrom only works with like Aqua Force and Tier Dragons. Lukier is generic. You're lucky. You got the nice one.
I mean, the downside is I can't get a 4th attack unless I have this one order that I have to replay every turn.
Yeah, but that's not like that hard.
Yeah. It's easy to do. It's hard to like do anything different. And if anything goes wrong, then you're back to 3 attacks, and there's no like if you don't draw it, if you run out of counterblast or whatever. Anyway, yeah, what did you think of this week? Leave a like, leave a comment. Patreon.com/Nexus@night, like I just said 30 seconds ago.
What?
Yeah, at Nexus at Night, Twitter, Instagram. Where did you find the rest of us?
On Twitter at Wiggums, 2 G's, 2 Z's.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
You can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or on YouTube. Although now it's called The Epileptic Comic. I just hit 100 subscribers. Yeah,
Pog.
Nice.
Yeah, I did a thing. Anyway, yeah, go check that out. Or my other podcast at Generation Dan on Twitter, and every Thursday new episodes of that. I think in terms of this show, what we're going to try to do at least is try and record on Fridays and release it on Saturdays.
All right.
Try, yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Sometimes it might be later, like on the Monday or something. But
I'm sorry, it's my fault. Blame me.
It's not just your fault. It's also because I'm between jobs and stuff's in the air. So
I understand.
We'll see. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.